to We're Not Alone here on Queen City News Plus. I'm May K. Bueller, Chief Transportation Correspondent and Pilot. We've got a great show for you today. So today, we're going to talk with the government's #1 UFO scientist who has an open mind when it comes to aliens visiting Earth. We're also going to talk about a new study that suggests that your odds of being abducted by an alien are greater than you may think. Yeah. And we're going to catch up with an incredible woman. She is a speaker and author. She's going to talk about everything UAPs and UFOs. In fact, she's even had an experience of her own. In 2022, the U.S. Department of Defense created its All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. They're tasked with investigating reports of UAPs. Now, the office's director, John Koloski, recently talked with Scientific American. He says his office is working to streamline the ability for people to report an incident, making it easier to report sightings, including the ability to use AI to examine patterns on a larger scale. He also says his goal is to remove the stigma from people reporting sightings, but a big focus was on what's called the Gremlin system. And that's a multi-sensor network for detecting, tracking, and characterizing UAPs. Koloski says the system, it's been active for several months with several interesting sightings. You can read his full interview on scientificamerican.com. So joining us now, we're going to make contact with Sev Tok, an incredible woman, brilliant, beautiful, interesting name. And Sev, welcome, Sev, first of all. Are you the former or current director of North Carolina MUFON?
I'm the former state director of North Carolina for MUFON.
Okay, so we have a lot to talk about today. So there is a new study that has just come out that I'm curious to know what your opinion is. And it says the possibility of being abducted by UFOs is, as I said earlier, probably higher than you may think. So according to the study, data shows that California has the highest number of sightings per people. According to this survey, North Carolina and South Carolina ranked fairly low on the list, so pretty much toward the end, not high on the list. But the interesting bit, and I want to know what you think about this, is that the odds of being taken by an extraterrestrial here in the United States is 1 in 1,833. Wow, that's it. All right. Now, compare that to the odds of being struck by lightning. That's 1 in 15,000. Or the odds of getting in a shark attack or being bit by a shark, that's 1 in 11.5 million. So the odds of being abducted in the United States, again, I have to say it again because I think it's crazy, 1 in 1,833. That sounds really like a lot. Do I need to be scared? And do those numbers sound right to you?
When I was the state director for North Carolina for MUFON, I had privy to all the sightings for the state. And we also ranked all the states in the nation as to which state had the most sightings. And while I was at MUFON, North Carolina almost always was in the top 10 most UFO sightings in the country.
North Carolina was. Okay, so who knew that? First of all, just briefly, Sev, what is MUFON? Can you just briefly tell us about that?
MUFON is the Mutual UFO Network that was created in 1969. It still continues to this day. I am currently a new director for the International UFO Bureau, which was actually created in 1957. It is now undergoing a restructuring. We have a new CEO. We have a website. It's all being created right now. Everything will be up and running very soon. People can report their submissions. They can report their sightings to the Bureau.
Okay. I want to get into your experience. I'm fascinated. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. But first, your name, Sev Tok. Is that your real name? And did I hear right that there's a character on Star Trek or Star Wars named after you? Tell me about that.
Yes. My name is Sev Tok, and it's my real name. I am originally from Istanbul, Turkey, and Sev means to love and Tok means full. And many years ago, my good girlfriend was dating a writer, and he got a job writing a short story for Star Wars. And he said, Sev Tok, I like your name. I'm going to name a planet after you. And I thought he was kidding. But his story came out, and I'm in the Galactic Star Wars system. I'm also in Wikipedia. I'm a planet and a star system. And there's also a character named Sev, which is a pretty violent character. It's a sniper. Uh, uh, and my planet was mentioned on Andor. If anyone watches Star Wars Andor show, one day I'm sitting there and all of a sudden my phone just lit up with all these people saying, "We just heard your name on Star Wars."
And you're also a member of, and this is a really big deal right now, the Hollywood Disclosure Alliance. Is that right?
The
Tell us,
Hollywood Disclosure
yeah,
Alliance.
briefly tell us what that is.
The Hollywood Disclosure Alliance is composed of people in the Hollywood industry, producers, directors, actors, and ufologists. And the organization was created so that Hollywood could get it right, so that Hollywood can stop scaring us. We don't have to be scared. And we just want the UFO ET reality to be portrayed correctly and not to be portrayed in such a way that uh, that society is afraid. We don't have to be afraid.
Because a lot of this stuff that we see in the movies and on TV, it's pretty scary stuff. So let's get to your experience. What happened to you? How do you interpret it? And how does it compare to other sightings, experiences, abductions? What happened to you, Sev?
Mhm. There are many similarities between experiencers of their events. So I have been an experiencer since I was a little girl. My first conscious memory started age 10. And I've had a lot of experiences up until and including to this day. I moved here to the Inner Banks of North Carolina in 2017. I'm in a very small town right on the Inner Banks. And it was my second night here where I made contact with the Greys. And the Greys are the smaller beings, the ones that we are familiar with, and they have the big eyes. They actually come in three different sizes. There's a tall, a medium, and a short. And we've been told experiencers get information, and we've been told that the tall grays have sentience, the middle grays have less, and the smaller grays are actually more robotic. And those are the ones that come and take samples and perform procedures and such, like we see in the movies and that we hear in the stories. So it was in the morning, and I was in the kitchen unpacking dishes, and I felt something bite my tush, and it hurt. So I yelled over to my partner at the time, "Will you look at my tush? Because I think a bug bit it." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So I walk over, and he looks, and there's just silence. He's not saying anything, and I'm getting worried. And I'm like, "Well, did a bug bite me?" And he says, "Well, yeah, and there's also an X." An X? So he takes a picture, and there on my left cheek is an X. It's
Oh my
anyway.
goodness. Is that part of the X? Is it a mark or is that blood?
Uh, it was scabs.
Scabs. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And when I ran my finger across it, I couldn't feel it. It was flush with my skin. And those dots are equidistant.
Interesting.
The picture of that X has been all around the world. People have measured it, and no one can come up with any alternative theory as to how I got that X on my tush, because I got two of them. That was the first one. So when I saw this, I was, well, as you can well imagine, absolutely shocked. And back then, I had a very different attitude towards the Greys. I was afraid of them. I thought they were evil, and I thought they were messing with me because I had come in contact with them before. Although they never did anything evil, they never did anything to mess with me, I was extremely afraid of them. There have been other beings that I've come in contact with, but I wasn't afraid of them. And I said to him, we're just going to forget that we ever saw this. We're just going to forget that there's an X on my.
You said this to your partner, not to the
Yeah,
gray.
no.
Did you
To my
see? Did you see the gray, or did you dream about the gray? How did the gray appear to you?
9 days later, I came to in my room. And after ET contact, when you're popped back in your room, it's like ding, you're fully alert. There's no grogginess, there's no sleepiness, there's no nothing. I describe it like being plopped from another dimension into 3D, and you're just fully alert and awake. And that happened. And at that moment, I had this download of a vision. It was like a movie running in my mind's eye. And I was on this bed. It was like a hospital bed. And I was on my side. And I couldn't move my arms and I couldn't move my legs. And I was in a room that I did not recognize. It was barely any furniture in there. And I sensed that there was something behind me. I could turn my neck, my head. So I did. I turned it, and standing right here, just inches from me, and I did draw a picture of the gray, was a gray, and he was doing something to my back. And that's what he looked
Oh
like.
my goodness. So forgive me for
And we
asking.
locked eyes. We just
Okay.
stared into each other's eyes. And I was so scared. One thing that was really scary for me was that there was no telepathic communication from the gray. In all my other uh, experiences with the grays, there was always telepathic communication. There's usually telepathic communication in ET contact, but this time there was nothing, and that scared me even more. So I turned my head back around, and ding, I'm wide awake in my bedroom. And I get up, I go downstairs, I wait for my partner to get up, and he always got up before I did, but not this time. And May I am extremely afraid because I get emotional just talking about it again, because I was afraid if there was another X on me that I wouldn't be able to handle it, that I would just lose it. It would just be too much for me to handle. So I waited for him to come downstairs, and I started asking him just a whole bunch of questions. Did anything weird happen last night? Did you see anything weird? Was I missing? And before this incident, we had been in Roswell, New Mexico, and we had a shared ET contact there with the Greys. So what I was telling him was not unusual or strange to him. He kind of knew what was happening. He said that he didn't notice anything weird. He didn't see that I was missing or anything. So I told him my memory, and I said, it's time to take a look. Will you look at my tush again to see if there's another X?" And there was. There was a second X. This time it was on my right cheek, just like the first X. So I had two X's on my tush that looked just like each other. Looked like they were burned right into my skin.
Did it hurt?
I didn't even feel it.
You didn't feel it.
No.
Weird question, forgive me, but if you remember, when you were on this bed, were you clothed? Did you have any clothes on? Did you have a blanket over you? Do you remember? Were you cold?
No. No. No, all I could see was just straight ahead, and then when I turned, I could just see him, and I could see there was a small piece of furniture ahead of me, and that the walls were kind of rounded, and it was dimly lit, but I did not look at my body.
Silly question. Was it a male or a female?
hmm These grays feel neutral.
Okay. How did you process this?
Yeah, that was very difficult because when I saw that second X, it was like I had an existential crisis. Because in that moment, everything I knew about who I was and about who we are as a human race completely disappeared. I was asking myself, well, who am I really? And what am I doing going out in the middle of the night and talking to ETs? And what do they want with me? Are they messing with me? Because back then I thought they were. Now I don't think that they were. What are we doing as a human race? And I just felt like everything I knew about reality was just yanked right out from underneath me. And I was just floating in this
Mm.
void of nothingness. I knew nothing. It was like I was starting all over again. And it was very scary. And I started crying just out of confusion and fear. And my partner asked me, "How can I help you?" And I had no answer. I didn't know how he could help. So I calmed myself down, and then I admitted for the first time in my life, I need help. I had never admitted that before when it came to my ET contact.
Where do you go for help? Because there's stigma with
Right.
this, right? What did you do?
Right. So back then, I had no idea where to go for help. I didn't know if there was anybody even helping anyone who came in contact with an ET because I was so afraid of the grays that I wasn't paying attention to UFOs. I was not in the UFO world. I wasn't watching TV shows and reading books. I was really out of it. So I didn't even know where to go for help. And I told myself, well, I'll just let it organically happen. The person will find me. I'll find the person. And that's exactly what happened. One of my girlfriends suggested I watch the movie Unacknowledged by Dr. Stephen Greer,
Mm.
and that lit something inside of me. So I walked over to my computer and I told myself, all right, I have to send a picture of this X to somebody. But who do I send it to? And I heard in my head, MUFON.
Mm.
And I'm like, what's that? So I Googled it, it's a real thing. And I saw a picture of Kathleen Martin, who's a leading ufologist. She's also the niece of Betty and Barney Hill, the most famous abduction
Mm.
case that went worldwide. And I contacted her, and she contacted me right back. And she talked with me for an hour and a half. And that conversation changed my life. She validated all of my experiences. And I asked her, what am I supposed to do with all the information these beings have given me? Because they've given me a lot of information.
And
As they
I'm going
give,
to ask you about that in a minute, what you learned from that, what information they gave you. What did she tell you to do?
uh, because I also saw myself talking on stage. In my mind's eye, I saw myself
Mm.
talking on stage. And back then, there was no way in heck I was going on stage.
Uh,
I was not coming out. I didn't want my clients to know that I was having ET contact. Like that image was weird to me. So I asked Kathy, what am I supposed to do? And she said, I can't tell you what to do. You have to figure that out. And once again, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do anything right now. I just let it organically happen. And then a couple months later, I woke up and I declared I'm writing a book. And I'm going to call it You Have the Right to Talk to Aliens. And
mm.
when I went to sleep that night, I had no intention of writing a book or coming out at all. But when I woke up, I was like, this is what I'm doing. And I wrote it very quickly. And I spoke at Alien Con. I still speak at conferences, but speaking at Alien Con in Baltimore in 2018, that was my coming out. I had a lot of experiences in Baltimore. I went to
So
Loyola.
you had more alien experiences in Baltimore. How many do we call it an alien experience? What do we call it? An encounter? What do we call this?
We're still struggling with the grammar. We need some new words. I don't care for the word abduction, so we can say contactee or experiencer, but I'm still looking for new words.
Is it a dream? Is it what someone might think is a psychedelic experience? Is it an altered state?
That is a good question because ET contact happens in two ways. It happens in a very, very physical way. You've heard the stories, someone camping in the woods and then an ET comes and then takes them. And then there's the experience which is happening through the consciousness. And so these experiences are real. Often, someone will feel themselves lifted up out of bed and they feel like they're not in 3D, but they feel like they're in a dream state, but they know that it's real. And then they're taken out through the roof or through the wall, and then they have an experience. They're either taken onto a ship or they come in contact with an ET and give them some information. So
Okay.
ET contact happens in two ways. The through the consciousness is the most confusing because that feels like a dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels hazy, and because of that, people discount them. However, a true experience you will never forget. You cannot discount it. And if you don't deal with it, if you don't process it, if you don't talk to somebody about it, or at least come out to yourself, it will negatively affect all areas of your life. It's very, very important to process these experiences. They're remarkable, beautiful, wonderful experiences.
Well, it sounds scary to me, and I have great respect for you. We're running out of time, so let's just wrap it up. Why you? What did they tell you? What information did you get? And what do you want our listeners and our viewers to know that they want everyone to know?
I
What?
don't know why me.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of theories and beliefs that maybe I was in contact in other past lives that I had, or I made some kind of deal or contract with them to come in contact with them in this life. I don't know if all of that is true. I don't know why me. But it started when I was a very little girl. As often, experiencers do start when they're children or babies.
Do you remember, or can you tell us briefly, what is the information they gave you? I mean,
Mhm.
should the rest of us be scared? Is the world about to end? Is full disclosure coming soon, that everyone is going to be woken up about this? Because so much has been hidden, and we can talk about that in another session. But just what did you learn from them, and what do they want the rest of us to know?
Well, we're part of a galactic neighborhood. And ignoring our neighbors is not good. We're not only hurting ourselves and hurting the planet, but the energy of our planet exudes out into the galactic neighborhood. And the other planets and the other star systems are aware of what we're doing, and aware of the havoc that we're creating. And there are beings that visit this planet and want to continue visiting this planet, and they don't want us to blow ourselves up. I was told in one of my experiences that we are on the path of self destruction, but it's not too late. We can turn around, but we're headed in that direction.
Well, a lot to talk about. We're going to wrap up now. Where can people learn more about you? I know you've got books, you've got a website, and we'll put that information up. Any
Thank you.
closing statement? And one last question, keep it brief, because we can talk all day. Should we be scared?
No, we should not be scared.
Okay.
The ETs are giving us information to empower ourselves so we are happier and healthier, and that we're more loving and we're connected. It's all about oneness. This is the information that we're getting. I'm an experiencer advocate, and I help experiencers around the world. If anyone has made contact, you can reach out to me. I can help you process. My website is planetsev.com, because I have the planet named after me in the Star Wars system, and I have a interview show, Alien Spirit with Sev, on my YouTube channel and on the KGRA digital broadcasting system. I'm about to have a new podcast called UFO and ET 101. This is just the very, very basics that I think everybody should know. It's time for all of us to be educated about this topic.
Sev,
And
thank
I'm also,
you. Thank you so much. I don't mean to cut you off because we can talk all day. Will you join us again in the
I would love
future for another show? Fascinating. Thank you for all you do. Wow, a lot to digest here. Sev Tok, we are not alone. I'm May K. Bueller of Queen City News Plus. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time.